Greetings and welcome to FactionMasters Season 6, Game 23. This is a semi-final match featuring the Chosen Grove, played by Shoots, against the Sand Goblins, played by Massimo. And I am joined by Shoots for this commentary. Hello.
Hey, glad to be here.
So you've come a long way to get to the final four. What were you thinking going into this match against Massimo, the reigning two-time champion of the Summoner Wars League, playing the very tricky Sand Goblins? What was your strategy here?
Yes, I thought a bit about the matchup between Chosen Grove and Sand Goblins, and really it was pretty scary going into the game. At first I looked at my matches versus Sand Goblin previously, and I only played it a few times, but was 2-0. But then thinking about it more, Sand Goblins are a very flexible faction, and of course Massimo is as good at econ as anyone. My previous wins against Sand Goblins, I felt they didn't go all in on econ and allowed me to kind of just trade and play the game I wanted to play. But Massimo isn't going to let me do that. He's going to, I assume, play Mega Gate and just go all in on econ. And that's kind of tough to face as the Chosen Grove. If you think about my commons, 3 of them have abilities that need a unit to trigger. So if he's just sitting there with a Mega Gate and pinging me for 2 range and then his wrench rat disappears, he's not leaving me any target. If I try to do a donkey stack beneath his gates, well, he just thrusters to the side and that doesn't work anymore. So yeah, the Mega Gate seems really problematic. And again, even though I played a lot of games with Chosen Grove, I can generally just play econ, and even if I don't have a clear advantage in econ, it's close in the end game. But I'm just well, what do I do if he does Mega Gate and doesn't present me any targets? But then if I burn through my deck and get to the last 5 cards, or maybe 8 if it's Knight of Seasons, it's do I have enough steam? Because I mean, Krusk has a lot of tricks for defense between building structures on his side of the battlefield, and then also Thruster can give him ability to run away from me. So just going all in on discarding to get to the end game seems, well, not great either. So I decide to, I guess, just go with the flow of the game and see if I can trade well early and just play the Chosen Grove game. But if it's not looking good, I just need to be ready to discard and get to that end game state, and not just sitting there taking damage as he slowly plays wrench rats only to detonate and get all the wrench rats back.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's not the game I want to play.
Well, he doesn't have Thrust in his opening hand. I feel like Massimo has a knack for drawing Thrust early. But we'll see that when that ends up. Is this your first time looking at the Sand Goblin hand?
Correct. I did ask Massimo a couple questions about his hands, but yeah, I haven't seen it. But that's another good reason to be ready to see how the game goes, is if both thrusters are at the bottom of the deck, well, that really changes things. But if he plays both thrusters turn 1, which, yeah, I've seen that plenty of times, and that just adds so much to the econ game. I'll also mention that, well, I've never played Massimo Sand Goblins before with Chosen Grove. I played as Sand Goblins twice with other factions, including the pre-nerf Deepwood Groaks. So we actually had a 60+ turn game.
Oh boy.
That time. So Massimo can get so much econ out of the Sand Goblins. He did. I lost both of my first 2 games against his Sand Goblins. So yeah, I'm definitely scared of his econ play with the Sand Goblins.
Okay, well, let's get it started. See, you're going first, and Another Ember Guard. Looks like setting up the old pinball machine here to try to take out that rider.
Yes, no way to reach his wrench rat this turn. But yeah, I'll just bounce around the rider and get an early trade in my favor.
All right, only one miss. Gets the job done.
Mm-hmm.
And you buried 3 magic. Okay, Massimo, just summoning a single
Yeah, I think
scavenger
I discarded the bear.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, the bear is just too easy, I think, for Sand Goblins to run away from or to just kill in a single turn.
Mm-hmm. I feel like I usually have the problem more of the bear being killed in a single turn, but, ooh. All hits. Try to get back that,
Yeah, so...
Right, not quite there, so...
Yeah, so he got, good hits for a lot of damage. Fortunately, did miss the scavenger kill, so lost out on just a little econ. It also did a lot of damage, so not a big swing either way.
All right, classic gate in front of Nimbid, and that was a hit you'd actually would have liked to miss, so you could get another boost, but at least you got the job done. More wrench rats and biters here. A scavenger, I think we'll see the carry ability used here.
Yeah, and as you'll see throughout this game, Massimo makes good use of the carry ability.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's often talked about on Discord how, I mean, Sand Goblins are good even without the carry ability, but, players who can utilize that well, can really up their game.
Some people forget that he has it, or maybe never knew. But the positioning here, it's a lot like...
Yep, I forget both.
Yeah, it's a lot like playing Cave Goblins, where you want to be diagonal to a gate so you can get a clinger on there. You put Krusk diagonal to your gate, and that allows you to use carry a little better. Pulling back the Rust Rider there. Saving Silts, saving Detonate. 2 good cards, obviously. And gets a couple gates there. Alright, so you got a Sapling and a Stag Rider. We have the Stag Rider, the Everlasting Stag Rider plan going here, but no boost on it yet.
Yeah, so here I want to secure kills on both units, and while the Stag Rider can be reached, it can't be reached easily. And then the Stag Rider could die on Massimo's next turn, so I don't want to risk really boosting it either.
I mean, you could have, if it had been boosted, you could have put it over here, but yeah, he is going to burn hot to make sure he gets it. And Krusk himself is maybe going to take some damage here, but Massimo will do that. Get Krusk into the fray and then back off and maybe even heal with I think it's called Clank. Sand Goblin champion that can heal. Ooh, 2 mortars and a thrust. Now you're up to 7. Only slightly ahead on the draw here, but pretty good magic lead. You're making really good use of those guards
Since
to
he
just...
had to burn...
Yeah.
Since he had to burn hot to reach the Stag Rider, but that doesn't actually bother me much because I actually want him to burn hot because if I can hit one of his important cards like Detonate or Silt, or even just like a Sand Scavenger, that's a big win for me. Unfortunately, I only hit one of the bikes. I asked Massimo after the game.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. That's like the last thing I want him to burn because I actually trade well with the bikes. They're like one of the few things that doesn't scare me. I did whiff, but it isn't really important because bike can't deal much damage there. And as you'll see, I just heal up that damage right away.
Good value for your Chant of Spring. I think that's what it's called. I almost said Rite of Spring, but that's something else. Bloom of Spring. There it is. We found the noun. It's a bloom. Keeping him in this very compact formation.
Yeah, I could have played one sapling up to get some damage on Krusk, which maybe would have been worth it. Instead, I keep them back where I feel they're all pretty safe. Playing the sapling up might just be easy well, it would just be easy magic for Massimo, but I guess if I rolled 2 for 2, maybe that's still worth it.
All right, now we have the super gate is being assembled. 2 wrenches, a
Yeah,
thrust,
so he's already
and a
gone
turret.
through a bit of his back. Took him that long to reach the first thrust, which, I'm happy it took him that long. I mean, these early trades I think have been pretty favorable for me. Like, it's the game I want to play.
Interesting to see that
but yeah, he's going to drop the good card at some point.
He built both mortar upgrades as magic. I know that Uncle Sparks can get those back again if he really just changes his mind, but I think against a 20 health summoner and all of these hardy saplings, mortar upgrade is maybe not the one you want to use right now.
Yeah, like you can get a lot of damage out of the spread, but again, you're discarding a random card. So yeah, I'd be happy if he shoots out some orders. Again, if I hit one of the valuable cards, but he's not gonna risk it. He's gonna build it for some early magic.
Well, he's got Silts and Sparks. Turret upgrade not quite getting through, but the detonate is ready. It's ready to blow it up at a moment's notice. Just took another Rust Rider. Either champion is possible.
At this point, he only has 2 Rent Rats on the gate, so it doesn't threaten too much damage yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's getting closer into a threatening position. Here again, some favorable damage trades. I'm not able to get much on Krusk, but a little chip damage. And again, finishing up a unit for some easy magic.
It's very interesting to me, now we see Uncle Sparks come out, that both of you had upwards of 7 or 8 magic and just not many units on the board, just kind of waiting to see who's going to do something first.
Yeah, I'm actually holding on to 2 champs right now. I have Knight of Seasons, and then I also have Adric. And well, for Adric, I don't particularly like him in this matchup, but I have a lot of magic. So I'm like, oh, do I hold on to him? Like, maybe there's a good chance to play him. Like, if I play him and then he dies the next turn, which is very possible with all the Sand Goblin tricks. So this is the turn I almost played Adric. I played him, then I undid the turn. I was thinking of also playing Summer here and just unloading for 8 ranged dice. So 4 on Krusk, 4 on Sparks.
Yeah?
But then, when I think through how Massimo is going to counterattack, if he has Silts, which he does, like, Adric's probably just dead, and I won't be able to hit Silts hard on the counterattack. So then, I'd be low on magic, because I'd have spent almost everything on Adric and Stag Rider. But at this point, I think I'd just give up on Adric and either discard him this turn or next turn.
Okay. Now, do you think that you want to start chipping away at the 10 gate there, or you just want to kind of try to ignore it? I feel like, maybe if you put a little damage on it, they'll be forced to rethink how they're doing it. Obviously, you don't want to go all in and then fail to kill it, because that's a big waste, but...
I like to get some chip damage when it's safe to do so, and then threaten going all in on the gate, which is still it can be a scary prospect because like I do lots of melee damage, so even if I destroy the gate, I'm going to take heavy damage from it.
Yeah.
But when it's at 10, I don't want to do anything but chip it because if I put on like 6 damage into it, it's just offering Massimo that much more value for getting that health back when he detonates it. So I don't necessarily. It's not like an amazing trade here with Seasons, but I needed to play him, get him out of my hand,
Yeah.
and like I need to start getting rid of the health on Sparks as well. So I figure now's as good a time as any. I don't really have any other options with what my hand was. I also have like an uproot in hand. And then like you mentioned before, I do get some chip damage on the gate. Depending on what he does with the gate, I can kill it next turn if he overextends it.
So there's no surprise attack with Silts here. Massimo actually uses the carry ability to tuck her safely behind Krusk.
And that surprised
me
at
a
first
little
as well.
too, yeah.
Like, on one hand, it's nice for me to know, like, okay, Silts is there. I don't have to worry about it coming out of a gate. And at first, it somewhat limits the possibilities, but because of carry, like, Silts can travel really far still between Cunning and carry. And you'll notice this, like, entire game until Silts dies, he's just sitting next to Krusk. So every turn, I have to consider, does Silts just wreck my play? Yeah, so makes me think a lot harder for how to play around Silts from this point on. Well, actually, for a while before now as well.
So here's my next question.
So yeah, go get the kill
Oh
on...
yeah, the scavenger. Getting good damage here. It's just hard to
on scavenger and then
hard to focus anybody when they're all staying so far back. You can't really come at them from the side, just coming head on, and vice versa, I suppose.
Okay.
All right, so
Yeah,
I'm gonna pause it for a minute here.
Season's still pretty safe here.
Yeah. So here's a question I'm curious about. How many uproots are in your hand, and how long have they been there?
Let's see, I've had one of the uproots almost the entire game.
You ever get tempted to use it just to reposition a little, or just...
If it wasn't Sand Goblin, yes, but against, like, when Sand Goblins have, Thruster, there's just really no point in repositioning Nimid. Really, the only value in it is getting a kill.
Well...
So yeah, at this point, I believe I just have one uproot.
Yeah, assuming we get into late game, you're really gonna wish that you had them, but the hand clog can be pretty awful too. So, 2 wrench rats here, which I have a feeling he's gonna go for the Knight of Seasons, and use one of these detonates here. Let's press play and see how this goes out. Oh, and a biter, a bug biter.
Yeah, so maybe I did let Seasons get close to the gate. Of course, I didn't necessarily know he had 2 wrench rats in hand. So yeah, he does get good value out of this coming up detonate. But won't be enough to bring down Seasons either. Biter gets the Stag Rider. It is hard to keep those Stag Riders alive against Sand Goblins.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
But the speed and the reach is, useful against Sand Goblins because they have so much mobility. Like, with the thruster, they can just hit your melee units forever and like not take anything.
Yeah.
Back.
Okay, that's the. I had a feeling he was going to go for that. Even if it doesn't kill Knight of Seasons, it does get him very low.
Yeah, so gets Knight of Seasons low, and now, I mean, I know he's got the Mega Gate with 4 Wrench Rats in his hand. And this is, it's really ended up in that situation I talked about before the game that I was worried about. Like, how do I deal with this? And from this point on, I had slowed down discarding for a while when things were going pretty well, but at this point I realized I need to get to the end game. And it's got 14 health, so, not, thrilled with the damage I've taken. But at least I've still got the health of a normal summoner.
Yeah.
So that's something I can work with. But I realize if I take much more damage on Nimid, I've got no chance in the end game. So I'm gonna have to discard more than normal, but I gotta get there. Also, sometimes it might mean just dumping units on the board in barely safe positions, because I gotta get down to 5 cards.
Yeah. Well, and Krusk is pretty low himself. Massimo often likes to use his summoner's health as a resource, but I think we have seen Clank come and go. So I think 5 is just where he's going to be this game. Do you like the getting everybody in a line here, though? Very nice alignment.
And now we'll just see the standard Mega Gate play of ping with the Rentrat disappears,
Yep.
ping with the turret, and sometimes with thrusters you can get some extra attacks in there. And he's just not presenting me any targets, so there's no magic bounty for me for several turns.
Yeah, it's.
Now he does have limited range units, so I figure this second Seed Bear is fairly safe. Like maybe he hits me with the Rentrat, but chances are I only take like 1 damage from the Rentrat, so I figure this is a good chance to move my deck a little faster.
Yeah, you might as well, since that works towards your goal of gaining some mobility. Also, it's hard for the Chosen Grove to attack from a side angle. Leaving 1 Wrench Rat hanging out there. Oh no, just move it over and then cross shoot. Okay. Well, this could be your chance to summon something and get some more hits on Krusk.
That's what I thought for a moment as well. But even though he doesn't have the thruster,
never mind. Well,
he does have running.
Get some shots on Silts, then get some shots on somebody. And that will deck you out at the end of this turn.
Yeah, so I've reached my last 5 cards. See what they are. I think I have 2 Uproots, 2 Oaksworn Guards, which were the last 2 cards in my deck, and 1 Stag Rider.
Well, the Stag Rider can last a while, depending on how your boost economy is going. I noticed Massimo's doing a great job of using those bug biters to pick off your commons hiding in the back.
Yeah, and again, the Seed Bears didn't get many great targets. So they weren't able to generate too many boosts this game. And with my last Seed Bear dead, I will only get 1 boost on the Stag Rider.
No more vigorous summer.
No, to get the discards to get to the end game, I did end up discarding
Oh,
summer and autumn. I figured I would rather have units than event my final 5 cards.
and
there wasn't going to be a good chance to use summer because it'd be just like 1 extra damage on
yeah.
the gate.
And you're
Now,
taking
even though
some
I'm at
swings
the
at
end game,
yeah.
yeah,
Taking
even though I'm at the end game, I don't feel like I can actually advance here because he still has a detonate.
Mhm.
He still has tilt. Like, it's just suicide to advance. Now, attacking my own gate isn't that important. It's been relevant in like maybe 1 game out of 100, but I think there's like nothing else. The seasons was going to be sitting there anyways, so it's like I may as well just destroy my own gate so he can't like avoid inactivity damage later
Mhm.
by shooting it.
Yeah, I think he's going to struggle
I
to
do.
spend all this magic that he has. I can pause it here for a minute. Ooh, getting some work on silts then. I can pause it here.
Yeah, and speaking of the magic, he does have 1 scavenger left,
Yep.
which of course can get his champ back.
Yep.
I was really hoping that scavenger got hit by the early
Oh.
burn hot in the game. Because yeah, that would take out so much economy from his deck. Otherwise, yeah, I choose to use my only boost on Stag Rider to get tilts down low. Obviously, once tilt is bad, that will make my turn so much easier because
Yeah.
playing around tilts every single turn is a lot.
Sure. Sure. All right. Well, we'll resume here. It looks like Massimo has a chance to get all 5 wrench rats on that super gate. I don't know if I've ever seen 5 out of 5 before, but it looks like we're gonna see it now.
I mean, I've seen it before, but I've also played Massimo's Sand Goblins before,
Yeah.
so. I will say I'm pretty happy with how I dealt with this second Mega Gate. Because, yeah, I put a little chip damage into it. But I believe at this point he decides to detonate it to get everything back.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I don't take any damage from the detonate. And obviously it's like I'm still just way behind right here. He's got 11 cards, 9 magic. I don't have too much going for me.
Well, you have enough health on your
At least
summoner.
now,
You
like
can
under
afford
Rentrat,
to take some inactivity damage a couple times to get a better position.
now that both of the detonates are gone, he can't self-detonate the gate for all that Rentrat damage.
Yep.
And every time a Rentrat disappears, it's actually gone.
Pretty much. Depends on what it disappears into. Looks like he's going to fight it in his own gate. I've seen some combo plays where you disappear a wrench rat into an enemy unit, then kill the unit to do some AoE damage to somebody's grouped up formation. Doesn't look like that's going to happen anytime soon, but maybe in the near future. It's just really funny to me that he's getting such use out of them. And it looks like you're advancing a little bit now.
Yeah, I can't take too much more inactivity damage, so gotta hit the only target within sight.
See if he can get sparks back. Looks like that's what he's trying to do. Otherwise, he's going to have no use for that 8 magic. It looks almost guaranteed, though. He can even disappear that wrench rat into the Ember Guard if necessary to get another shot from behind, but I don't think it'll be necessary here. I was going to do it anyways, just to get Nina down to 9. Well, getting pretty low here.
Yes.
I'm wondering what those last 3 cards might be.
Even at 9 health, Nimbus is still the tank on my team.
Yeah.
Protecting the Seasons and Stag Rider to, advance until they can safely engage. And then here I do discard one of my 2 uproots that I've been holding on because I figure I need to have the magic for my last Oaksworn card next turn.
Yeah.
Which is a little sad to save the uproots so long and then just discard one of them anyways.
Yeah, it's such a powerful ability, but the Sand Goblins are so effective at dancing around it and not being affected by it. Round of 4.
Yeah, so really from here, there's no way to keep Nimid completely safe. But, put her in a place where she has a chance of surviving. And here, I gotta kill Silts this turn with the 3 ranged, or, it's just over next turn.
Okay.
Stag Rider pulls through.
Yep. Gotta survive a little more. Gotta survive. Well, he can't top wrench. But 8 health could be a lot to get through. He's prioritizing that
also
Stag
notice
Rider.
that his second thruster was the last card of his deck.
Yeah, I saw
so
that.
I actually got very fortunate. Very fortunate to not see that thruster until now.
Sparks came up a little short.
And yeah,
Let's
Stag Rider
see
holds on.
if turret upgrade. Oh, turret upgrade also failed. And failed again.
So now, consider that my last card is the Oaksworn card.
Yeah, maybe
which,
we can
threatens 2 damage.
Pause it here.
So
and,
really here, I gotta get the damage on.
Yeah.
I gotta get some damage on Krusk, and if I get lucky and hit the 3 for 3, then I can, summon Oaksworn Guard potentially in the future to do the final 2 damage. And I guess, it just makes more sense to put Stag Rider's damage into Krusk than to an 8 health Sparks anyways.
Right.
And I'm gonna avoid the gate right now because it's just gonna, blow up.
That would be lethal to Seasons. Yep.
Down. Yeah.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah,
3
so
for 3.
Stag Rider's really
Stag
doing
Rider's
work.
on point in the late game.
Only got 1 boost, but got a kill on Silts, a perfect 3 for 3 on Krusk, and also avoided a ton of damage on that previous turn.
Now, if he kills your Knight of Seasons, and the odds are good that he will. There it is. It's gonna be hard to even reach Krusk, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm just going to have to, trap Krusk in the corner if I'm gonna have a chance of reaching out.
Yeah.
He is out of cards, so I'm pretty safe this next turn.
Well, he can't burn hot with the Rust Rider.
Well, yeah, and I didn't actually know what that last card was till now.
Oh. There it is, on the brink. But the Ember Guard lives. Well, I think Uproot could be the play here. Finally, get to use it on the last turn. Whether you hit this or not. What are your odds here? 70%, isn't it? Oh man.
Yep.
Didn't get it. Didn't get it. Wow, what a close ending.
Yeah, so a bit of a misplay on Massimo's part.
Mm-hmm.
Wish we can finish the game here and then maybe
Sure.
go back to that turn.
And we'll go. It's round 44. Yeah, I think there were other places that he could have put Krusk than right up next to him. I wonder if he was planning to do some kind of a thrust move. If he did kill the Ember Guard, but just it didn't play out.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a way for him to figure it out. And again, it's really well played by Massimo overall. Again, it's a long game, so
Yeah.
easy to just miss something, and then, of course, that can be it. I think he mentioned he had recently woken up, so one of those classic morning moves where you think you're thinking properly, and then
maybe
realize
Krusk
that
could want to be
you
sitting
should have
right
waited
here.
like another hour.
Yeah.
But he did mention another interesting thing is he caught a misplay this turn where he put Krusk by his own gate, and if he puts Krusk by his own, well, I guess the gate is out of. Maybe he advanced the gate, but I think he put the gate closer to Nimid, and then also put Krusk next to the gate, where I could have potentially, I could have uprooted the gate, swung for 4, and then I only have to hit 3 out of 4, which is like 90%. So he avoided that, but he still,
Krusk is not. Krusk
play.
is not actually adjacent to the gate here. I wonder if there was an earlier turn. I might rewind a few turns to see if he was ever in that position.
No, I mean he undid it.
Oh, he undid it. Okay. So
yeah,
almost,
so he didn't.
almost.
Yeah, I was just talking to Massimo after the game, and he considered that play where he ended up next to the gate, realized the mistake, but then made a different misplay instead.
Gave you a chance.
Yeah, again. Yeah, really well played by Massimo, and really in that end game situation, I was just playing for some really long odds where either there's a misplay like that gives me a shot, or a lot of whips, and he did have a good number of whips. Would have needed a few more for me to have had another shot. Yeah, you have that moment of hope where you see, oh, this is exactly what I wanted, and then 10 seconds later I take the roll and it's like, oh, all that for the
chance. Dice did not give it to you in the end.
Yeah, but that's how it goes.
That's Summoner Wars. Wow. Well, that was quite a game. Very entertaining. Any final thoughts for us here, Shoots?
Yeah, it's just a few final thoughts. a 46 turn game, but of course a lot of those are short turns with not much happening. If I was to face, Sand Goblins again, of course, if they're not playing like the ultra economic Mega Gate strat, you can still probably play Chosen Grove fairly normal. But if I was to run into Massimo Sand Goblins again, still not really sure what to do. Probably discard even more heavily and try to reach the end game with 20 full health on Nimid, and then 5 cards that are going to represent pretty good value in the end game. So I discarded a lot more than normal, but I think I need to discard even more and get to that end game sooner. But it might just be a hard matchup for Chosen Grove, unless someone can figure out a better approach for the Mega Gate strat. Otherwise, yeah, really happy to be part of the tournament. Bring Chosen Grove in their first FactionMasters tournament.
Very well represented them. Yes.
And hope I'll make a late season push with them next season as well.
We would love to see you back with Chosen Grove or any other faction that you can bring to #1. So yeah. Thanks
for
participating, and my pleasure.
Looking forward to the last few games.
Right, and thanks to all of our viewers who tuned in to watch. We will see you all next time for more Faction Masters.